Amanda Santos. She said she's
Oh,
going to do the
she
show.
wait. Wait, she's doing China as well.
Yes, she's doing
Oh my
Titans.
God! Wow, this is going to be something for her. She just
She,
she's already qualified for the Olympia. Is this like her backup plan or something?
probably, if you look at the list, here's the list right
I
here.
can't.
Because
Like it's too far away. Can you zoom in a bit? I can't see the names.
let me see. Let me give me a second. Let me see if I can enlarge the picture a little bit. Let's see. Zoom, 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 zoom. Wait. Zoom it out, zoom it out, zoom it out, zoom it out. IQ. Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm
At
starting to see.
least.
Oh, Patty. I see. Roshana. Oh, Roshana's joining. Okay.
Sure, Shana Boswell. Doxana Dawson. We have not seen this since the last year, Rising Phoenix.
Patty
Ava,
again.
yeah, Ava Manillo.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was to the Olympia last. She was. Yeah, I hope she get approved this year.
She won the Toronto Super Show last year.
She kind of
Esther
looks like
Rodriguez.
Ariana Grande. Yeah, she kind of looks like Ariana Grande. Am I the only one who knows the resemblance?
I'm not.
I'm just. It's just probably me.
Yeah, that's probably you. As you said again, Christina Mendoza, Esther Rodriguez,
Never heard of
Amanda,
her.
yeah, Amanda Santos, also Maria Monica Vega, because she lives in California, she's in her backyard. My dear friend, lovely Miss Tina S. Williams, and
Yeah, she's back.
also, yeah, and also the tiny tank herself, Marilyn Yee. We have 10 ladies here. But here's the thing like this. I would say if some of these 10 ladies have enough time to do this show, why couldn't you do the Rising Phoenix? I'm like I said again, you know, this show was just a week from it, and maybe the cost of travel. I know some ladies, like I said, live different parts. I know Rashawn lives in Illinois. The Saka, I forgot where she lives. I think she lives in Texas. Patty actually lives on the West Coast. She lives in, I think Washington State, or is it? I forgot which way. What? Not Washington State. I think it's is it Montana or something? I think it's Montana. Now, Christine Mendoza, she lives in Nevada. She lives in Vegas. So you can't tell me you couldn't fly to that show. And I feel like if Christina had competed, I don't think Amanda would have got her qualification. I don't know much about Esther Rodriguez, where Monica. I know Tina. She told me she was doing the show anyway. And Marilyn Yee, like I said, she
I
lives in
think
San
I
Diego.
isn't she. I think she competed in Tampa last year, didn't she?
Yeah, she beat Tampa last year.
Yeah,
She
I
didn't do as
did.
well.
Yeah, I think I never got a chance to properly introduce. I think I did say hello to her, but I think it was just it was. I was new at the time, so who knows? There's always next time if I ever get to meet her.
Yeah, she's a very interesting character. We always, but was a few months ago had her on. She didn't want to explain what show she's going to do, but I felt like she was going to do the show again because, like I said, it's in California in her backyard. I would have jumped on to the right thing. See how you done. It's a toy show. Christina, same thing with Christina. If, like I said, if Christina had competed at the Rising, there's a good chance that she could have got that qualification. And then I think some ladies would say they're like kind of hearing that the champs come, kind of like with Natalia when she do shows. Some ladies will either once you sign that contract, you can't unless it's like something if you're sick or or you're sick, you can't do the show. Then you have to be obligated to the contract. But
Mm.
I think some ladies already knew that Andrea's do the show because she already said it about. She posted on social media at least I think a week before the show, and you have a deadline. I think some shows you have to the deadline is like that Sunday, and then once everybody takes the names in, they posted them. Here you go, Mike Cahill. He says, "What's wrong with you? Nothing wrong with
Well,
me.
who me? Who
No,
me?
he's talking to me. He's talking to me. There's nothing wrong with me. As I said again, I'm no ticket type of criminal. I just love anarchy and chaos. And I love dynamite and gasoline.
Mm.
I'm sorry, folks. He used to come out every now and then. But 10 women. And
Already proven. This is probably the best, the biggest outside the Olympia. This and the Masters. This has to be the most improved lineup we got. So this by the end of this year. I mean, wow. That out of all the contests, it had to be this one. Wow.
mhm. Well, I think that's what it was. I think some ladies wanted to save their pockets. If I was most definitely Christina Mendoza, what? I would say this: some of the ladies could have done this, the Rise in Phoenix. No, I don't know if they knew, but they should have known because you know, Winter Strength like this, they don't. I like what like well, I was talking to sorry, excuse me. Okay, I actually clicked in my accident. I was talking to Andrea. You know, she said that they could have put a memo out. But here's the thing is, if you got to put a memo to every competitor in women's vitamin division, some of them, like I said again, are not too much on social media. You consider email, and that's why. And then sometimes some are just not too. They might be busy. Sometimes they might see it's like they might see it, but this is if you go back to go back to the Wiener Strength Farm site where they did post that this was happening. There's enough time. I mean, it's this was told almost 2-3 months in advance. And you can't use excuse that you didn't know because this was 2-3 months in advance. The thing is, I think a lot of ladies, quite a few, were either didn't like the idea that there were no incentives, that they didn't pay for the trip like they used to, that all the other prizes that were there, like best poser, most muscular, those little incentives, and also they weren't paying for their giving because one day my man Keith told me this because his wife been invited like half a dozen times. There was no per diem anymore, where you had to pay out of your pocket to get there. It was a regular show, and I think some ladies, you know, the cost of traveling and all that is expense. If you're the few lucky ones who has a sponsor, you know, then that's good. But generally, a good number of ladies are mostly paying out of pocket. Like my man Keith said, sometimes you have to steal from Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if we're ready to talk about it because the minute you said sponsor, I had a feeling there we have to address the elephant in the room. If for those of you who haven't noticed what happened today,
Hmm.
it's
Well,
ends
my
on a
man,
what I don't know if you know about just when you thought something was about one a certain person that recently won the game, but then recently received the unexpected news that I gotta feel sad at the moment. And I
yeah,
think
I
we
think,
might have to talk. Should we talk about it now?
yeah, I won't pull it up because his problem is it's Alcion Barito, and neither of us speaks, Brazilian.
She speaks Portuguese. She's from Brazil. Another small
It's
world.
Brazilian. Technically, it's Brazilian because in Portuguese, Portuguese is like I know a friend. She lives in Portugal. The Brazilian Portugal language, even though it's based on Portuguese, some pronouncements are different from the language. It's actually you go because the area is Brazilian. Portuguese is Portuguese. You know, but there's some things that similar, like the difference between Cuban and Mexican, even though they share, Spanish history, but because the area and environment, it's different tendencies. So I don't say Portuguese, I say Brazilian. That's their language. That's their how they speak. It's different from because you go if you talk to somebody if you talk to in Brazilian to somebody in Portuguese, you're gonna have some issues here and there. Like there's some words that are not the same in another language, even though they can't. Like you look at the one, I think only countries that were kind of language are similar are like Germany and Austria. It's pretty much it's Deutsch. French and Belgium is Franc. Even Canada shares some language with the Franc with the French. But then others, there are so many differences, especially in cadence of speaking. Even if you go to Africa, there's different tribes. They're all Africans, but different tribes have different cliques. Like same thing is with different Native American tribes. Um, but my man, he told me about this. I'm going to pull it up for y'all. If y'all, I think what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna run the video and I'm gonna talk because I'm gonna read the translation. It makes better sense for me to read the translation and try to let her talk because we won't understand what she's saying. So here we go. I'm gonna pull it up here, and we're here on her channel, and there she is. So like I said, I'm going to read the translation. Should be right here. It should be here. And she's talking. Oh, it says, unfortunately, this is reality. I am incredibly sad to have to talk about this happen today. And, she's talking about it, but the fact is,
eu tenho sido muito forte, porque eu sou muito grato a Deus por tudo, e quando Ele me dá uma oportunidade, eu não desisto, eu me empenho, eu me dedico, eu dou o meu melhor, inclusive é a forma de gratidão que eu tenho para mostrar para meus amigos o quanto eu sou grata por eles, é mostrando o meu trabalho da melhor maneira possível. Só que eu vim aqui expor para você.
Well, we have here a gentleman called Drumstick, was it Mick Lifter? And he asked what's happening. So somebody who's might have explained it in English. Let's see. Oh, that's about different. Steph, she's a competitor. She says this. She says she's being sued by a company that left 3 years ago for a breach of contract. The company is asking for a fine of $200,000 Rios, even though her salary back then was only 100,000 Rios, and the travel and daily expenses that were in that contract were never paid by the company. Right now, Alcione doesn't have any sponsorship and has no way to pay that fine. She's managed to stay in the sport with the help of friends. On top of that, she's considered not going to the Mr. Olympia because she can't cover the cost of her own. Alcione is urgently needs a sponsor. Shit, she's in trouble. That is, and actually, truthfully, if people don't know this, I'm gonna tell you this. Even in Rios, that's not a lot of. That's I think actually it might be if you break it down because if you break it down to American money, that's probably around about $20,000 American cash. Because the Rios is like about like about maybe 4 times less than American dollar. The American dollar is 5 times more. Like I had a friend of mine. She was an MMA fighter. She was working in Brazil, and she was just short on cash. She was hungry. I said her $20. That $20 can turn to $200. We got here, my man. Shout out to my man, KL, the Wonder coming through. Here
Hey,
she is.
thanks for
Yeah.
joining. Good timing to join us.
Bang, bang, bang. Smoke gang. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
just talking about what's the most unexpected news. Even though she clearly, well, I mean, I'll say this was actually okay. First off, this was a big year for her because she won like won first in 3 shows in a row. That's impressive, but it came with a cost.
Yeah, she's being sued by I think a company that she had some business with, is suing her for like 200,000 Rias, and Rias in American money is like maybe around about $20,000, and she needs sponsorship because if she doesn't, she can't make the Olympia. Now the Olympia will cover your plane cost, and but she still needs the cost for like when she gets there, for place to stay, for Uber. Like right now we're doing, as you know, there's a GoFundMe for Tiana Flex for her to do this year's Olympic because she doesn't want, because she's going to be the first female bodybuilder to come from South Africa. She don't want to miss that opportunity.
Why does she owe that money though? Well, Alcione, why does she owe that money? How much?
I think if I go back and we have somebody kind of translate it for because my friend Steph, she asked because she was curious. So Steph asked, he says, she's being sued by a company that she left 3 years ago for breach of contract. The company is asking for a fine of 200,000 Rias, even though her salary back then was only 1,000 Rias, which is like probably in American dollars, maybe $100, less than that. And then the travel and daily expenses that were in the contract were never paid by the company. Right now, Alcione doesn't have any sponsorship, so no way to pay the fine. She's managed to stay in the sport with the help of friends. So I would, if I could, I would love to. I don't have $20,000. That's something that probably would cover it. 20,000 US you send it over there, that should cover her fine. But then if she had get a good lawyer and told her because they didn't pay her, her worth is because whatever contract she had with that company. That's the thing is, people, when you get with a company, especially who sponsors you, read even the small print. If you gotta pull out a microphone and go like, because sometimes there's some shit you don't see. And always, when you're doing contracts, I know it's expense, but get a lawyer. Yeah, I mean, it's get a lawyer. Most definitely you need a lawyer, because especially someone deals in contracts, because sometimes they put things in there that a lot of people don't understand. This is part of the third part, there's a third part, the other part, and then you don't understand it, and you say, okay, I just signed. But then somebody say, oh, wait, what's this here? Okay, nah. Okay, we take it that. Okay, and you're guaranteed that you can give her 1,000 Rios for her as being a brand ambassador. If not, if you don't follow these contracts, we can sue you back for not upholding your part of the contract. Um, Here, this is for my man. Shout to my man, Shot Circus. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time this year that women's bodybuilding division hit double digits.
Well, for a
Yes.
regular contest, yes. For the Olympia Masters, that was always been the plan from the start. So
Yeah. And like I said, some ladies, like I said again, who are competing in the show. Michelle Boswell, who used to do the Rising Phoenix, but most times she got invited. I'm surprised she's doing this show instead of doing Rising.
do you think
Um,
she's? How do you think she might do? Do you think she? Do you mind she might make it, or maybe at least into the top? I don't know. Where do you think she might make it into after what she did
well,
at Japan?
well, I'm like I said, some of the ladies have seen look very impressive. As you know, there was a while back, Christina Mendoza posted some stuff, and she was really good. I mean, especially after Chicago, she was not as in condition as she was. Uh, was it this morning? I saw something from Patty Hansen, and she posted it on her IG. And it's just a basic for you guys. I know you guys will love to see this. I posted it and I tagged her. She responded, and it's a little picture of Patty Hansen, and she said, "This is
Oh, she
copy."
respond. Oh, she responds to you, and not something that I did some time ago for Atlanta. Is she? It's like I remember she reached out to me when I first. And is she a busy lady now? Is she very busy now?
Well, I know we tried to set for an interview, but I know she has kids. I think her husband, he works.
And I
Uh,
never said anything wrong to her. I remembered I wrote a nice message to her and she responded, and I just never. I remember tagging her, yet she never acknowledged it. Like it's almost like I did something wrong or something.
well,
Yeah, sometimes you
sometimes,
got paid on no mind, man. They just
yeah.
listen up. They busy and probably got other things going on, and that's how
Okay,
they.
so it's not me. I'm just
No,
guys. You guys know I mean well, right?
Yeah,
I
you do,
mean,
you do.
if you stress it, it's gonna be you, but just you just gotta leave it alone. I mean, because sometimes even when I reach out to them, and it could be annoying too, because some of them they do see it, and you be like, you don't know what to think. So it's like if they reach out to you, they reach out to you, not just yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, sometimes if I approach you and we have like I just this week I just picked up a couple of interviews, and we try to keep in contact. Other times I reach out to ladies, say just do an interview. I try, hey, I might come back a few days later, say, hey, we still on. Say if you're not, then I'm just gonna move on. But if they're ones who genuinely want to and keep in contact, they'll send you a message to let you know. Sometimes it's just how it is. As you know, Ava here, and this is from she was at the World Championships, the North American weekend. Here she is. That's Mr. Dave Palumbo, Jumbo Palumbo. A couple of his clients competed at that show over last month, and Ava looks really good. I mean, look at her quads. I mean, she's only in her, I think, her late 20s, and she don't post a lot on social media too
Yeah,
much. She's
I
kind of
know. Yeah.
yeah, she won her Olympic qualification back in 2024 at the Toronto Super Show. you know, um, she didn't do as well at the Olympia. I believe she was maybe either above or I think she was either above or below I think she was under Alcione. I'm trying to remember above or below because Alcione dropped down too. Because you remember the year before, Alcione was in top three, and she dropped all the way down to 14 and 15. I think that's where Ava was. So this is gonna be a first show for the season. I mean, President
Is
Lady,
she a
good
pro?
size. Hmm?
Is she a pro or
She's
what's
a
she?
pro. She's a pro. She's been to
Oh,
Olympia.
okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
Okay.
she. Yeah, I say she's been to Olympia. So that means you, if you go to Olympia, you're a pro.
Now my
Unless
mind
you
drifted off while you was talking. I ain't mean to.
stay awake. Drink some coffee. and
I was drinking mine this morning.
also, I said Christina Mendoza. Christina, I mean, she looks impressive from some I've seen on her on social media. And she knew as well in Chicago. She won Chicago a couple years ago. You know, this is I think this is when she made an announcement here that she was going to do 16 days out. And she was going to do the Titans here. Her back, her one thing is her glutes are just crazy. Her condition is pretty good. She's kind of one like Kiefer says she's kind of inconsistent, but when she got herself together, like when she was at Tampa last year, she looks great. She looks great. She was kind of this is like this is from you remember this is from Tampa. She
Yeah,
looked really good.
I was there in the audience today. I remember Joey being the loudest. He was so loud, but it shows he's really enthusiastic to support because, well, for all you out there, she's taken. So don't get any ideas.
Yeah, Joey, that's her husband. Yeah, I many times Keith told me like especially when she did the Rising back in 2023, how he was like hollering hooting. I mean, that's good. That's good. I mean, but sometimes dude, you need to pull it back
He's
a
a really
little.
nice guy, Ty.
And
I remember speaking to him actually. Before the finals. He's a really nice guy.
yeah, I think some people really want to see her make Olympia because she has a great look to her, great physique, very feminine. This is the thing is that's the thing they want to push the women who have that great muscle and femininity combination. And I can't lie, Christina's a very attractive lady. I mean, will she ever become Miss Olympia? No. I mean, as long as you have
Why you
people,
say that? Why you
as
say that?
long as long as you have Andrea, Angela, and someone like Ashley, it'll be difficult to get past them because, like I said, again, she's kind of inconsistent.
Oh,
She's not as steady. And if you're not as steady and if you're not active and steady, because she hadn't competed. She after was it 2023, she dropped out of Olympia when she got qualification. Then she came back, with the Olympia, and then she kind of faltered a bit at the Chicago Pro because Melissa Tite came in and won the title. Um, with Shauna Boswell, I've had the pleasure of meeting with Shauna during my time. She was down here in North Carolina. It was a seminar that my man Glenn from the Amazon Fitness magazine did. We didn't have a lot of ladies, but it was nice. It was nice to get together. Um, we talked. I even brought her a little package I fixed for her. She told me that her son Lucas loves the toothbrush, but she's a good lady. I think she didn't do as well like she wanted to at the because she won the show back in 2023. One thing about Rashana is she has great shape, but she needs to work on her conditioning in the back, especially in the glutes. She can come a little soft. If she just you really want that nice grainy, you want a nice styration in the glutes, you want the good connections in the adductors and in the hamstrings. You don't want to be too soft. Maybe the trip to Japan might have affected her, but that's always been her issue. I mean, I remember when she competed in Chicago back in 2020, and she lost to Teresa Vasa because Teresa Vasa has a better back. You know, but I think she's a great lady. She's has come a long way. Loving mother, wife, beautiful physique. I can't lie. A lot of tattoos. Not a big fan of the tattoos, but she does have a beautiful physique.
Yeah, that's always been a challenge for me every time I draw some of these ladies. It's their tattoos. Like I actually am drawing. I am planning to draw Alcyon next, and I'm looking for all these reference photos, and I am really surprised how much tattoo she has. And mean, one of them has Rosie the Ripper on one of her biceps, and the arms look like a flower on the on her underarm. There's I think there's something like a dragon near her abdominal muscles. Like, you should really check them. Like, I do the best I can. I try to make him simple. And I mean, it was hard for me when I drew Mark, when I drew him, and I kind of got, but I was surprised when he managed to draw what I drew on Chelsea, like that little strength, excels, negativity on her on one arm, and looks like a dragon or a raven on the other arm. It's crazy. The
You draw
detail
when
there.
you draw would you draw that like a Photoshop or Flash?
I draw. I have Toon Boom. It's a software where cartoonists likes
Oh,
to where they
yeah,
do
I heard of
animation.
that one. I heard of that. Yeah.
The posters. As for the posters, definitely Photoshop. I actually do when I do the posters. It's definitely Photoshop.
No, okay.
Well, also, as you know, I got to give a shout out to Amanda Santos. She dropped this picture. She's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful young
Oh
girl. I
yeah,
think she.
yeah, she's pretty cute. But definitely a still impressive, well built young lady. And now she's not only in her program, made for plays, going for the Olympia, and now she's competing, tying to tying as well. I think this was just her backup plan, just in case she wasn't going to make it.
Well, but she, as you know, when she signed that contract, she can't back out, so she's going to there to compete. And I think this has been her pro debut. I mean, look at her. She's just a little bit taller. You can see how much taller she is compared to Andrea. I think maybe just an inch or so more. One thing I think is that she needs a little more width in her lats. She just needs a conditioning, something she need to work on. I mean, if her, only that's the one thing I think that Natalia beat her in was her condition is just a little better, and Natalia is really a little bit more thicker, especially around the back and the shoulders. You can really see, especially when you do this. But we all know Andrea is she's the fifth element. She's perfect. Mm. But I think she has the way to go. I mean, she's very impressive. This is to do the final pose down. She's doing the most muscular. Yes, go
Yeah,
the
I know we
lovely Miss
talked about
Michelle
that.
Rich.
Yeah, and Michelle, showing the champ how we do it old school. I originally I originally made a message to Michelle. She responded positively about what about the commentary we did. Really, I think she's a very sweet lady.
Yeah, she's a great lady. A legend. One of the few ladies who's been competing exclusively in women's bodybuilding ever since she turned pro. Not a lot of ladies that can say that, other than Hella Trevino. There's Patty Corbett. I think Virginia Sanchez and a couple others. Not a lot of
Yeah,
ladies who have been.
Patty Caborda didn't make it the top. I actually reached out to her at one point. She said she got sick, which kind of explains a lot, but she wasn't too discouraged by how she was ranked. So
Yeah. Well, you got to remember,
that's
she's nearly 70 years old, and you're competing with some women who are maybe 20, 30 years younger than you. And that could be tough. I know some ladies will just exclusively do masters because they want to compete with the girls most younger than them. But there's some ladies who look impressive, and they look good. So again, here is Amanda. I'm just proud of her. Actually, reached out. We try to do something maybe later on, maybe before she goes to the Olympia. She gives an update what's going on with her and what's her future plans now after Olympia. Because there's a new show coming up the month after Olympia, which is the Steve Carr show. And it's going to be the first, I would say, it's going to be the same weekend as the Romanian Muscle Fest. But, it's going to
yeah.
be a show.
I forgot that's happening too. Man, it's sometimes hard to keep up nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. Here, got this from man, Josh Simpkins. He said this. He says, Christina Mendoza really improved since Chicago. She been putting in the work. She has, because
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
yeah. But back to this now. With this was, like I said again, very low numbers, and like some ladies saying, well, like again, we have at least 10 women, so that means there could have been, we already had like two ladies who already competed in the Rising previously, Monica and Amanda. So you tell me maybe three or four more women. I know with Tina, she wouldn't probably want to do it because she's focused on. I remember we were talking with her. She was focused on the show, The Titan. I would say Rashada Boswell. I would say Christina Mendoza, Patty Hansen. I mean, at least a couple more could have done the show too. Just see how they do, how they look. Maybe they need, like, one thing. Sometimes some ladies do a show to get the judges' feedback, and maybe they wait maybe another show a few weeks down the road after they make the adjustments. But this show is close. This is one of the last, very last qualifications for this year's Olympia. Any other show after that is for 2027.
Fair. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah.
Hmm. So, and it's just something that I would say like this. People out there, if you are a fan of the sport and you want to, if these women are genuinely interested, reach out to the promoters. If you have the wing, I'll often say this: if you have the ways and the means to assist, if you have the connections, if you have deep pockets, if you can buy a brand new Bugatti, you know, and you're a fan of women's bodybuilding, hey, you can get yourself a discount Bugatti. You can take a few $1,000s. If you feel like this show needs, reach out to, as you know, the promoters, Alex Casa. Alex works for Wings of Strength. I was talking with somebody, as you know, it used to be the Wings of Strength Rise Arizona Pro. And that was for all the other divisions. I was talking with a friend of mine. I said like this, you know what, women's bodybuilding still needs because we're not certain if any show is going to have it next year because with such a low numbers, these promoters they want to turn out. I remember last year the St. Louis Pro, they dropped after that only had 5 ladies. The guy who promoted that show dropped women's physique. He added wellness for this year. And he told the ladies, "Hey, if none of you show up for the Omaha Pro, because he also promotes Omaha Pro, I'm going to drop Omaha." And we had at least, I think, that last year was like about 15 women did that show. And then, or saying like my friend Andrea said, Andrea said like maybe didn't know about the new changes, but there was only again 4 women at the Linda show. So the show is coming up. It's on the list. It's not like you get a lot of. I don't think Linda's do a census like the Rise Phoenix do. So is it because you don't like the fact that all your little census were part of the show was stripped away? The prize money is dropped down. I know a couple ladies, they talk to me and say, "Hey George, I'm just they don't like the idea that they're not getting the $50,000 they used to," and and all the other stuff they get like best poser, most muscular. But the champ, she came back. She didn't have to do it. It could have been 4 ladies. And then I would say like this. I would say Natalia get the qualification, Amanda get this qualification, and I would say honestly Monica get the qualification. But the champ came because she wanted her title. And again, I know somebody said they're not on social media that much, but somebody would have told you. You would have heard it. I mean, I told some ladies about it. When you tell somebody, usually, hey, you heard that they're not going to do invitations for the Rise of Phoenix. It's an open show. Say, what? You heard it? Say, yeah, yeah. All you got to do is go to the Wingsmith IG or the website. They'll tell you. That's like I said, bodybuilding is, even though it's kind of big, it's still a small community. So this is about a Pacific division. So you're telling me that you're not paying attention? It's again, one of my things is be aware of surroundings at all time, your masters. They will give you a footing for a killing blow. And that thing is, this is your sport. When you hear a new show like my man David, he just did an interview with Austin Carr. The C Carr show is named after his father. And he announced that they're going to have women's bodybuilding. And it's already, I think, about a good, maybe double digits for this show too, because you're gonna have a lot of ladies who just did the Olympia jumping on this show, and those ladies who are not either Angela, Andrea, or maybe depending if Ashley still keeps the 3rd spot, whoever keeps the 3rd spot, then those ladies are going to probably try to jump on that show to try to get that qualification show to worry about doing, maybe just waiting, just doing other shows like maybe Triple O or something later on.
Yeah.
We got here, this is my man here. Oh, Laura, man. Stop by Laura said, "Hello, friend George and friends. Nice to see you." Laura is from Canada. He does
Nice to see you
content.
too. Hey.
Yeah,
So
he's
sorry, I didn't mean to sound trivial. Do they
yeah,
still say?
you can say
Yeah,
nice to see you.
You
Nothing
mean
wrong
nice,
about it.
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Mean nice to meet you, or good to
Yeah,
see
nice to
you.
meet you. That's might see me. He can't see us. We can't see him, but he can't see us. So that's all right. So you get it. But I don't know. It sound to me personally sound a lot of lame duck excuses. I mean, this show's been around for a long time. It has changed because Jake has to be competitive now. He has the Arnold over his shoulder. Arnold's one of the biggest shows, but here's the thing about Arnold: it does not cover all the divisions. It's only the banana hammers and boy short divisions, the TNA divisions, and you just got fitness. And there's a possibility that fitness may not have. Well, if we haven't heard it about it, the end of this year, we because you just already putting out the invitations for to compete at the Arnold amateur show, which is the amateur pro qualifier. That's part of the All Sports Classic. He's already putting out the list for that, the invitation for that show. But if he has not announced it by the end of this year, possibly fitness get pushed out because Fitmall's coming, and
Yeah.
and I
Yeah, no disrespect. Absolutely no disrespect to him. I understand you want to create variety. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It's just don't make it too much. Don't take too much focus away from the other divisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. That's a big concern. I think some ladies who told me that they feel like I remember with Trish did an interview with my man Jeremy. Excuse me, on his female muscle fan podcast. How he said it's a basic bitch division. Like anybody who's a gym buddy who just do cardio, you just mostly teenagers on the beach, just pop on a posing suit. Some of the ladies train because I did interview a couple of them, but a couple of ladies they'd rather be in bikini. But this is like a way for them to try to maybe get their pro card. You know, it's just like I said, the opportunity's there if you can get in there and boom. It's there's no crossover as an amateur because you can't. Like one thing we do amateur shows, you can double dip. You can do maybe three or more divisions. Some ladies would do figure and bikini. Some ladies would do figure and physique. Somebody would do physique with bodybuilding. I've interviewed a lady who did figure and wellness. She had a pro card figure, but not in wellness. But with this division, you can't cross that line. You have to be exclusively in that division. So that means that if you want to get your pro card, that's the only place you get your pro card in. But then once you turn to your pro, you can do whatever you want. You can stick with fit model, or you say, you know what? Let me go up and do bikini. I know some ladies who have interviewed who get their pro card as physique competitors, but they switched over to women's bodybuilding. Same thing when who did get pro card figure competitors. They switched to women's physique. It's just a gateway to get you there. And if you're gonna stick with the division, that's good. It's the division you work on. A couple of ladies who I saw at that show at the Rising Phoenix, I feel like they might need to switch. Maybe just me, because way they're pushing the criteria of the division, it's kind of getting away from the original plan that it was. It's supposed to have been more smaller, petite, more athletic built. But then if you look at the women now, if you look at people like we talked about this before, Rachel Daniels, and I'm gonna pull this up.
Had a
Somebody,
feeling you were gonna bring her up again. You always bring her up.
it's this woman. Like I said, we both seen her, me and you
Yeah, we
both,
both saw her in person. Yeah, we did. In Tampa. Yeah.
and it's and this is, and I don't know if KL saw this picture. This is from when she was at Pittsburgh. This was this year. And if you look at this is where for one thing that could probably save women's bodybuilding if these ladies from women's physique move up. If they decide to move up. And this is a picture here. This is Rachel. And this,
Yeah.
on the other side
So
of her,
the local playing chick.
yeah, real Lois Lane. On the side of her, that's Natalie Way Wolf. And right there in the corner is Natalia. She's doing the most muscular pose. And if a lot of the physique competitors don't do it. They rarely ever do it, even if they find a pose down. If you look at Rachel really good and you say to yourself, is this physique or women's bodybuilding? Her, like, especially if you look at her quads, look at her shoulders, look at her whole physical presentation. It is not the truthfully, honestly, to be, it's not the standard of what women's physique is. Even here, her just doing some basic posing. You know, her quads are bigger in some ladies in women bodybuilding. You
Mm.
know, I mean, her back is much wider. Her lats, she took some time off, because she was doing some stuff. She got divorced. She was tired by a dog, and then she decided to come back.
Yeah.
And if you just this picture here, this is screaming to me. If she kind of looks like, I would say almost like a mini Angela Yo, just a little bit, especially the tats and the hair, the style. I mean, she's a little bit more, I would say, funky, because she's more into hip hop and just more into the golf side of it. But if you look at her, you know, she is closer to. This is one thing that probably could save women's bodybuilding if more of the physique competitors decide to move up. Like, I just had an interview with a lady who does figure. She competed in North Americans, and the judges told her, we need you to be more bigger, a lot fuller. But it's why should she be bigger and fuller?
Does
She
she
need to be
want to do
more.
bodybuilding?
Hmm?
Does she want to do bodybuilding? Lois Lane?
Well, probably not. That's the thing
Um,
is. But one thing is, if the judges do this, like some ladies, if they get penalized more, because in the same show, there's one chick, Brigitte, and she's from Austria, and if you see her density is that. This is supposed to be women's physique,
yeah,
honestly.
that's women's physique.
She's supposed to be women's physique, honestly. Look, I mean, her lats, her arms, her quads. This is, I mean, she won a qualification at Imperial this summer. And, the same show that Martina um, Lopez won in women's bodybuilding. But she's doing women's physique. And
She doesn't want to
her,
do bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding.
probably not. That's the excuse a lot of ladies, like she's doing a front lat spread. That is exclusively only division sport, like Jeanine tells me, she don't like when any of the girls are doing the poses that they do. That's a front lat spread. You ain't supposed to
So,
do it
but they
in,
but they don't want to do women's bodybuilding.
but they don't want to do women's bodybuilding. But you're doing poses similar, and then your size. But the problem is the judges. They're rewarding these women that are, like, or technically supposed to look closer to the division that we're trying to get away from. Physique was supposed to be an alternative for women's bodybuilding. It was brought in. But now, because so many ladies, as I said before, who went down from women's bodybuilding to physique, it affected the look of the division along the way. He's just talking, and I think even, I think I heard sometimes, I heard that TV Body Channel said that she should move over. I believe heard a couple of times because they said in some interviews. Um, it's just, but they're always going to use the excuse because they feel like I don't belong there, I wouldn't fit, yada yada yada. But if you do move up, what's going to happen is, I know the cost. It's going to cost you a little more to get in the condition and get in shape because it's more of a expense. But some of these physique girls are they not too far from some of the women bodybuilders. I mean, this is like this. If some of these ladies move up, like just like I said, at the Rising for women's physique, they had a little over 20 women, and I would say maybe 2 or 3 out of that 20 could have done the women's bodybuilding division. But the thing is, they're going to use that excuse because it takes more time to put on the size. Yeah, it does because you have to be compared to women's physique. You'll be as conditioned. It's more about you have those. You have to be more full roundness in your shoulders and your arms. You have to have more size in your quads. more muscle density compared to physique.
What about
Yeah, we know we know a few athletes that went through that transition, and I think I think this is an easy example of Michaela Yaycock. I think she made the smart choice of going from physique to bodybuilding. I think because she listened to the judges, and I think that was the best decision made, and she made she made the most out of what she did till what she's doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Everybody say, Cam?
what can I say something, please, before anybody starts cutting? Like
Say something
your
wrong?
homegirl, she was saying what's that girl name? She's from Michigan. She's a wellness competitor. She was Jada. She was a bodybuilder. Then she was
Don
physique
Allison?
competitor.
Don Allison?
No. But
Jada Beverly.
let me get to my point before y'all start cutting me off. I'm saying I'm trying to say that maybe they don't want to get too big because they feel a certain way. They can't move right. Because I remember one of them had shared that they felt that they had all that weight and they just had to kind of like size it down. If I'm explaining that right.
Yeah.
I
But the thing
remember
is this.
Jake had explained that. Maybe that's how these women feel.
Yeah, I understand that. But then again, some of these ladies they train just as heavy as some female bodybuilders. Some of them put on size just about as much as you. Like I said again, you look at Rachel. You go back to Rachel, how she first started when she came pro. It's about the evolution. If they know, and then the thing is also the judges. The judges are, I would say, the big problem because they would tell if the criteria is supposed to be a certain way, a certain look, more athletically, more lean, stick to that criteria. But when you're telling even women in figure, we need to be bigger, we need to be fuller, and they're going to train like that. And you can say like, oh, I'm not trying to be, but you're training. You're just not that. It's just like this, like how the other guy was saying. It's just you just take a little push, and that's all it is. You're not too far. You may be no more than 5 or 6 pounds. And I think one of these things talk about. Let's go back to weight classes because this was posted. I don't know if it's still up there. It was in her stories. It was posted by Blanca Rodriguez. And I think I shared it with some people and they say, yeah, it's right. But I think it was like she posted her stories, but it's probably already gone. And Blanca said that it should be some weight classes. It should go back to, especially in physique, because she did the rising, and she looked people quite some time. She was at one point she was double dipping 1 year. She was doing both physique and figure, but the thing is, they're not going to do that.